Okay, looks like we're all updated and ready to go. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. Welcome, everybody. This is our briefing for the Mason County Commission for the week of February 5th. We are going to go ahead and open up with Solid Waste Advisory Committee interview. Let me pull it here. Do we have our applicant on?
Good morning, commissioners. I don't see him on quite yet, so I'm going to give him a call and see if I can get a hold of him via phone.
Okay, and Lisa is not on either at this moment, so we can't jump ahead to Lisa. Let's see, Steve. No. Okay, nobody's early today. Hey, if what do we got going on? If we can, Mark, you want to go ahead and we'll knock off a few of the things off of our support services?
Absolutely. So let's get to that part. I wasn't quite ready for that, but I can get there.
So, Mark, first thing on our list is the board's 2024 board assignments.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Good one.
So I sent that out to the commissioners. I think last week circulated what you had in 2023, the different boards and councils you sit on. And I didn't know if there were any changes from anyone.
The one thing I would like to bring forward is I asked Mark, I think back in November, about finishing up when it comes to the housing authority. Was trying to hold off until the monies changed hands, but now seems like as good an opportunity as any if the commission would entertain us removing ourselves as ex officio on the Mason County Housing Authority Board. I kind of need input because it was a board recommendation or selection.
My understanding in the past was that the county had actually given the housing authority some funds to help them operate. And as a condition of receiving those funds, we wanted to assign one of our commissioners to the board to kind of oversee it in that ex officio role. So definitely up for discussion between the other two commissioners on how you'd like to move forward with the housing authority, if you'd still like to maintain some I don't really feel like it's oversight. I feel like it's more just participation when they include you.
And or if somebody else wants to serve on it, that's good too. But as and maybe now is not the right time. Maybe the best time is to wait until the money is replaced at the county from the ARPA funds. I only thought about this today because we have this in front of us when it comes to board assignments.
So I'll jump in. So I do think it's fine to remove the ex officio seat because it was tied to general fund money that we granted to them or just appropriated to them. I don't think that I think that money has been long spent. And I don't know that there's frankly any value in us sitting on the housing authority board at this point. So I'm happy to find ways to distance ourselves from that organization.
Commissioner Trask?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I was gonna say basically the same thing, but probably not as eloquently as our commissioner does. But I agree. I think that I think we asked that someone sit on it because of the concerns that we had, but I don't think that those concerns are easily fixed by us. And so I think that I'm very comfortable with removing ourselves off of that board.
Yeah, in the beginning, remember there was nobody, and we had to show them even how to have a meeting. But of course, just like any other organization, it's their organization, their life of their own, and they don't always have meetings in the way that we would like them to, or I would like them to. But it's not my barbecue. I'm just ex officio. So with that, though, it sounds like we are in agreement. So can we ask Mark to please prepare a letter, or have somebody prepare a letter on our behalf?
Yeah, good with me.
Okay,
I'll do that.
Okay. Any other issues or any comments when it comes to positions? board positions and anything anybody would like to participate in that we don't know about.
On mine, and I let Diane know, the Community Action Council Board of Directors, they changed their bylaws, and so we no longer have a position on that.
Eventually, we need to actually have a talk about that as a commission on how to go about with working with everything they have there, so.
Right, yeah, Dave and I have had quite a few conversations about that, and so we'll move forward.
Well, in case nobody
Well,
told
you
you,
know.
Commissioner Trask, you did a great job. You represented us well, and we're very proud of your participation on that board. This commissioner is, but I'll let Commissioner Schutte speak for himself.
Yeah, no, appreciate all the work you did on that group, and I'm listening to this conversation and I'm thinking about how I can get some of the boards that I'm on to change their bylaws.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'll share those bylaws with some of the other boards as well.
Not be a bad idea, Commissioner.
Right, and I'm not sure that we have the Memorial Hall Committee anymore. I think that was more of a building maintenance, and we've just turned that over to Kelly because Kelly does such a great job.
Yeah, is that group required, Diane?
No, it was just one that the county did, because we do have the Veterans Advisory Board, which is required, and we've asked if there's any issues they have, they can bring it up at that monthly meeting, and Mackenzie and Danielle will attend that meeting. And they can always too, if the veterans have an issue between meetings, they can always contact the county and let us know.
So should we strike that one, guys?
The Memorial Hall Committee,
Yeah.
yeah.
Commissioner Schutte, you in agreement with striking it completely?
I am.
Okay, as am I. Any other on the board, councils, and commissions? Hearing none, we'll just go ahead and move forward with that point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just checking in, have we heard from our candidate yet?
Yes, I have Mr. Stommer on the phone in the chambers.
Okay, let's go ahead and commissioners, do you mind if we go ahead and go back to that?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee interview. We have Mr. Stommer on the phone out there on the line. Mr. Stommer, can you hear me okay? We don't hear anything, Mackenzie. There we go. I think we heard something. Mr. Stommer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I have a difficulty to open my web page. It's trying, it's slow, but I'm slowly trying to make it happen. But I just wanted to let you know that I have the difficulty at this moment.
No problem. If you can hear us okay, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, I hear you.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and go ahead with the interview. What I have is some simple questions. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. This is just to get to know each other a little bit. At the end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask us questions. So again, it can be as brief as a yes or no answer, or you can throw more in if you'd like to have further discussions. With that being said, Commissioner Schutte, if you don't mind, if you'll do number 1, Commissioner Trask number 2, and then Commissioner Schutte number 3, Commissioner Trask number 4, and I'll do number 5.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Mr. Stommer, great to talk to you again. Appreciate you joining us this morning. First question for you is, why are you interested in becoming a Solid Waste Advisory Committee member?
2 or 3 reasons. Number 1, recycling or waste management in my own household was always a priority. I believe we need to work with our resources responsible. And number 2, my experience here in Shelton, and maybe one of the commissioners remember that I contacted, I think, Mr. Duty regarding plastic recycling. That was the kick to say, well, complaining is good, participating is better. And my experience in Germany, my home country, we were, even in the 80s, advanced in recycling, and I believe in that.
All right, great.
I hope I answered the question.
No.
It's like,
Very good.
Yep, that was good. That was good. So, what is your background and experience, especially in the area of solid waste, and how will they be a benefit to the Solid Waste Advisory Commission or committee?
Besides, I'm not a solid waste specialist or study it, but I would bring something else to the committee. Number one, I studied federal tribal policies. It's my understanding that there are representatives of our surrounding tribal governments are on the board. So I have a very clear understanding of what that relationship between us and the tribal governments is. Number two, I have extensive outreach experience to people of different faith communities, immigrants communities, and that would possible a good contribution. And I also believe in education, and that I think should be or is a part of the Solid Waste Committee to help understanding citizens of the importance of responsible solid waste management. And I have a background besides of being a veteran. I served 12 years in the military. I also have a training in horticulture, so that impacts somehow the understanding that we need to take care about our environment.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Shooty?
Okay, next question is, what is your knowledge of solid waste management in Mason County?
Beginning knowledge. I just moved from Thurston County 2 years ago here to Mason County, and what I understand is the committee is looking into current policies, is make recommendations of the development of new policies, and advise the commissioner in that. And you, I assume, give the committee also task to look into specific talent solving issues. So it's a two-way street. That's what I see. But in detail, I think I would have to study a little bit about the history of solid waste management, and I'm sure that this could be not a problem.
All right, thank you. And what is your vision for the future of Mason County solid waste management?
My future is an increased education. Number two, increased, if not heavy, outreach to our Spanish-speaking, or I should say Mayan-speaking communities. Is the bilingual development of waste management webpage, and being honest, very aggressive, trying to find ways in making waste management more visible. I also believe that Shelton is not Olympia, it's not Seattle, but why can't a community like Mason County be the shining light in regards of waste management? Ways maybe to get more grants, and outreach to the citizen. We need to let every citizen know, hey, we need you be a part of it, and explain why that is so important. Not just saying we need you and you should help. No, why is it so important that you really consider to do more and be more active, helping us to get there where we want to go? Mason County should be a shining light in waste management.
We thank you very much. We thank you very much. Now's your opportunity this is Randy. Now's your opportunity to ask questions of us that may help you to decide if this is still something you would like to do. Do you have any questions for us?
Sure. How is besides of the monthly meeting, what else do you expect from the members of the Waste Management Advisory Committee?
Commissioner Trask, you serve on that committee.
I do. And that's a great question. So the only way that we really know what is needed of us on that committee is by participating. And one of the things that we're encouraging is travel to go see the different things that we deal with. For an example, would be some of the recycling facilities or taking tours of our own solid waste facilities. And then also, taking a trip to, which we're planning now, a trip to the Cowlitz landfill site, just so that we know more about what we're doing, what's expected of us, and how it can benefit Mason County.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what was my list. Should I be appointed to ask one of you commissioners, or asking you to help me to get in touch with someone who worked very long in a waste management position to guide me there and to get me very quick on speed. I'm just very, very interested to get back on track in the plastic recycling, the plastic wrap recycling, finding a new way to start that. There is no shame if something didn't work the first time. Important is to keep on it and to, in my vision, and to restart it, and not blaming anybody, but saying, hey, this is important, we can do it. So what are the options? And just move ahead. I think we all really benefit. I have bags of plastic wrap at home. I'm hesitating. I am absolutely hesitating to put it in the garbage, and I'm desperately finding a way to recycle it. But that's that. And another question I have is, are you commissioners approachable? For even ad hoc requests or suggestions to really look into it and to put it into your deliberations at a council commissioner meetings?
I think you're at a time in our history where you probably have the most approachable commission possible. And it's funny enough, although Commissioner Trask serves actually on that committee, the issue you're talking about was actually Commissioner Schutte actually brought that forward to us and started that other program. So I think you may find some people that are on the same page as you. So yes, you'll be able to feel free to reach out to us and talk to us anytime.
Yeah, I think it's very important that the commissioner believes in that as well. You maybe understand that in politics, that's not everywhere the case. Sometimes you create committees and you hope that the committees exist, and so it's very good to hear that the commissioners in Mason County really believe in it, and they want that the committee is successful, and that we all together in Mason County are successful in this issue. So that's very good to hear, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions that you have for us?
No, not at this moment. I'm sure questions coming up when you depart.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be talking about it later. You should hear in the next week or two what we're going to be doing in regards to the positions.
I'm very thankful, grateful that you took rescheduled. I'm sorry about that the last time, and right now I would maybe getting into the web page so that you also take my phone call. So it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, anytime. You have a beautiful day, and again, thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Mr. Stommer.
Okay, so next up, Lisa, I see that you're on there. Next up is our treasurer.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I have before you a request from Utilities and Waste to increase their cash drawers by $100 each. Stephanie and I have had several conversations about the increase in the fees this year, causing the cashiers to need more denominations in cash to make change. So I've looked at it, I've approved it, and it's moving forward to you for your approval.
And you feel we have the right pieces in place for safety and to go forward with this?
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, but it's pretty straightforward.
Commissioners?
I am supportive.
If Lisa's comfortable, I'm comfortable.
If
All
Lisa's
right, great.
comfortable, I'm comfortable. So you got all three.
All right, have a great day.
Okay, anybody have anything for Lisa while she's on? No? All right, thank you, Lisa.
All right.
All right, next up is our auditor, Steve Duenkel. Steve, are you available there? I don't see him.
Hi, Commissioners. Me again.
Hi, me again.
I left him a voicemail. I emailed him, but it sounds like he just walked in the office and should be on soon.
Okay, I see that we have Dave Windom on. Dave, are you ready to go?
Oh, sure.
All right, we'll go ahead and move into you, then we'll come back to our auditor.
Okay, so we have two pieces today. One from me, which is the it's a culmination of the work on RIA 14. It's the land capacity analysis that we had done by Mott McDonald, and then the two drainages, and that's Goldsboro Creek and Johns Creek, to look at buildable lands analysis, future population estimates, all those things that were included in the 2019 MOA between Mason County and the Squaxin tribe. And this should put to bed everything that was left in section 5 of the MOA and bring that to a conclusion. I mean, it's been 5 years of work, and I think that they did a great job on this report, and it becomes, I think, a very good planning document going forward. So it doesn't require any action next week on an action agenda, but it's just a briefing for the commission.
You know, Dave, this is actually, we've all worked on these things with you over the past with some of these issues. I think this would be a great thing for some type of a work study where you come and take some extra time with us to go over what you ended up with.
Be happy to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important. Commissioners, how do you feel about something like that?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to understand. I've had a chance to review a couple versions of this throughout the process, but I think it'd be really helpful for us all to understand what this represents and what this means for the future. And I think it would be great to do it jointly with community development as we're getting into our comp plan update, because I think there's an opportunity for us to avoid some of the pitfalls that we went through when we last updated in 2016 and 2017. So I absolutely support having a fuller discussion about this study and what it means for us moving forward.
Commissioner Trask?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think it would be good for for our community to understand the work that's involved in this. It's not something that takes 15 minutes a day or anything like that. And so, and the cooperation that I think that we've had, the relationship that we've developed with Squaxin too, I think is really important for people to understand. So I really like the idea of a more detailed report, I guess, to everybody.
So maybe at the very minimum, Mark, we can put together an hour on one of the days we're a little slower, or perhaps we can add it before or after a Board of Health meeting when we're all together, or if you see some other opportunity. But sounds like all three of us would like to actually have it done in a full presentation so we could ask questions and educate our community with it. Okay. All right. What else you got for us, Dave?
Okay, next up is Ian.
Good morning, Ian.
Morning, Commissioners. So this is a proposed regulation change, and it's a request to set a public hearing for March to, propose those regulations, put them before the public for feedback. It's Mason County Title 6, 6.68. This is the portion of our regulations that we use primarily when we're approving building permits, when someone applies to build, making sure that they have adequate potable water for their project. There's three main changes that we're making to this regulation, or proposing to make to this regulation. One is to move the portion of the regulation that is commonly known as the Hearst response. That's the part where that limits the amount of total water withdrawal you can have based on your watershed that you're in. we're moving that to the planning regulations because that's the most appropriate place for that portion of the code. It's based on the authority of the Growth Management Act, which is with planning. The second most substantive change is a change to the minimum amount of water required. So currently, a building project is required to have a minimum of 800 gallons of potable water supply per day per connection, which is a very large amount of water, and that's inconsistent with our neighboring jurisdictions. Most of our neighboring jurisdictions require 400 gallons per day. And that's a much more reasonable number, given that a typical 3-bedroom septic is 360 gallons. And then, you know, add a little extra for non-consumptive uses that are not related to what's going into the septic system, you know, watering plants, you know, et cetera. It's a fairly reasonable number, much better than 800. And then the next change is adding a clean bacterial test results requirement for Group Bs. And the purpose of that is, years ago, I think almost 8 or 9 years ago now, the state deregulated Group Bs. So our regulation originally said that, for Group B purposes, you just have to follow the Group B regulations. And those used to be an annual bacterial test and I think every 3 years nitrate test. And when the state deregulated those, we basically lost any oversight of the quality of drinking water for Group Bs. And there's a lot of issues with some Group Bs management. So what we're proposing is just have someone who's an applicant provide a clean bacterial test. And if their Group B is being managed properly, they should already have that. They should be able to just talk to the water system manager and provide that clean test. But if not, then they would just essentially follow the process that anyone with an individual well follows, which is to submit a sample for analysis, which is about a $30 cost. But in general, this process should be more cost efficient for applicants because proving that you have 800 gallons of water per connection is fairly costly, especially when you have to get a pump test for that. And if you have a low producing well or a well that produces water fairly slowly, that can create a lot of time that a driller has to be out there doing that pump test. So in general, our view is that these changes will have mostly beneficial impacts to applicants. And Kell, who's scheduled to come after me, has a companion bill or companion ordinance proposal for Title 17 to move that regulation. Did anybody have any questions for me about these changes?
This is a twofold, but the main reason we're bringing this forward today, though, is just to decide whether to put it on the agenda to set a public hearing.
Correct.
Just double check that with you, okay?
Yeah. Sorry,
that's right. You're all good. And I think I already told the commission last week or the week before that Ian had got a hold of me. We talked it out. We talked it through, and I'm a lot more comfortable today than I was then. And I have no problem with moving this forward. Commissioners, do you have any questions or issues?
Not for me.
I don't either, Ian. That's really helpful background that you provided this morning. So all good moving it forward to a hearing and seeing what the public has to say.
You got 3, Ian.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Dave, do you have anything else for us?
That is it for me.
Commissioners, do you have anything for Dave?
I
Hearing
am.
none? Yeah, hearing none. Dave, have a great day, and we're going to go back to our auditor, Steve Duenkel. Hi, Steve. Good morning. You're muted, Steve.
Good morning. I apologize for being late. I got a little distracted. I was on the phone with our sheriff's office this morning, formalizing a report from the attempted theft of our ballot drop box at the Belfair Timberland Library over Thursday night last week. So my apologies for being late. But hey, I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about something that Clerk Charles Rhodes and I have been working on, and that is to resume providing passport service for the citizens of our county by moving the responsibility for passports from the clerk's office over to the auditor's office. And so wanted to present that idea to you guys or in that plan and get your feedback.
Commissioners, I want to remind you that for a little history on it, the past clerk, not the one we have now, came to us with an idea of taking this on and promised a bunch of extra revenue if we did it. So we bought the equipment, but that extra revenue never happened. And in fact, it was running backwards. So it turned out not to be the right place to do it. The idea that Mr. Duenkel would like to do it, he says he has capacity when I was talking to him, and we could start to get some of our money back for the investment that we made. So I just wanted to share with you the history and let you know that it doesn't bother me. It supports me because I'd like to get something out of that equipment we purchased.
Yeah, the clerk's office is constrained resources, and Charles is putting his attention on the things that they're required to do by statute to support the courts, and so we've got some capacity to absorb that statement of work. And I think also the only other place to get a passport in the county is at the Allen Post Office, if I'm correct. So hopefully we can provide better service to our citizens.
Commissioners, what do you think?
I have Steve, do you have the authority to do this? This wasn't like authority that was granted specifically to clerks in RCW?
I haven't seen where I don't. There's other auditors' offices around the county that provide passport service.
Around the state, there's a couple other auditors that provide it.
Around the state.
Commissioner Netherland provided a little bit of a history lesson there for us. I am old enough to remember when Clerk Fogo came to us, and it's always fun to see who wants to pick up what in this county and how these things. We're gonna have to stamp the passport of the passport camera equipment because it's moving around.
Yep.
So I don't. If you know, I'm always surprised that the things that you and your office want to take on, and from animal control to passports and everything in between. So if you feel like you have the staff and the capacity to do this, I think that's fine. I thought it was a great service to offer in the clerk's office. So I'm going to trust you to make it a great service for the public in the auditor's office.
Thanks,
Commissioner. Somebody else wants to take it back over.
So we do have Charles has got a camera and a printer. That's basically what we need to support the passport photograph.
Do you have to buy it? Do you have to buy it from him?
Technically, yes, and we're planning to do that. The camera's about $800.
Well,
and I don't know what the printer is worth.
And we looked at it before. The money actually came out of the general fund, and it would still be going to the general fund. I was talking to Mark about it, and he doesn't believe that would be necessary unless that's changed. Mark, has that changed?
No, that has not changed. Yeah, it was funded out of the general fund originally, and both our auditor's office and clerk's office are funded through the general fund predominantly. And so I definitely don't see a need to have any money exchange hands for this equipment. Steve?
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then I guess the last two pieces of the puzzle are.
Steve, hold on one second before you do that, though. I still need to hear from Commissioner Trask and
I'm sorry.
Her questions and stuff, and see how she feels with this. Commissioner Trask, is there anything you'd like to discuss regarding this?
No, I think I want to make sure that we can staff it with what we have as far as this, because we just started this new budget year, so I want to make sure that we don't need more personnel for that. And you've got amazing staff, so I know that they can do what's required of them. And I'm glad you clarified regarding the not having to transfer monies around. I think it's just a matter of transferring inventory.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm comfortable with it as long as we don't need additional staff at this point in time.
Yeah, and you're not requesting any additional staff. That's a good thing to clarify. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see any proposal where we've asked for any additional staff or any additional monies to do it. I assume that if you bring in extra revenue, you're probably going to be asking for something with that revenue, because that's what everybody does. But at this point, I don't see anything here where you're asking for that. Are you asking for any other monies or positions?
Nope, we are not. So we'll be able to fit this in the statement of work in with our existing staff. Okay. The one thing, just for everybody's awareness, we do have to formally transfer approval for the passport service through through Homeland Security from the clerk's office to the auditor's office. Charles and I will work on that. And we do have to get our staff trained through Homeland Security. It's an online course, and we're prepared to get signed up and get that accomplished. So those are the other two pieces of the puzzle.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Steve? Are we all comfortable with moving forward?
Yep.
Okay, I see 3 heads nodding yes, so. All right, thank you very
guys-
much, Steve. You have anything else for us?
You guys are great. Thank you very much. And if you hear of anybody who tried or saw anybody attempting to steal our ballot drop box in Belfair, let me know. Let the
Well, we
sheriff.
lost a speed trailer for a while. I don't know if we got that back yet. Before you go, though, I just want to make sure, because my question was if they had any questions regarding this issue. But Commission, do you have any questions for the auditor regarding anything since he's on here?
I do not.
No, we received an email, so I imagine that will be brought forward as well regarding use of the building for the upcoming election.
Oh, for the vote center temporary setup in the lobby.
Right, and use of the commission chambers, I believe was in that request as well.
Right, and we're going to work around your regularly scheduled meeting hours, Commissioner Trout. So it should be non-interference basis to the commissioners.
Will that be being brought forward by Diane or go ahead, Mark?
I actually sat down with Marie last week and kind of went through their schedule and reserved our Monday and Tuesdays for what we always use the commission chambers for. And Tuesday is a scheduled regular meeting day for the commissioner's office. And so Marie was happy to work around that schedule. Auditor Duenkel has worked with TJ and Kelly to kind of figure out how he can set up some tables and chairs in the front lobby area to help voters. And we are in a presidential election year, so I do expect that Mr. Duenkel is going to probably have quite a few customers coming around that time. So it looks like there is a way to actually set it up and then not impact the commissioner's office meetings.
Kelly and TJ have been super helpful. We've got the provisions we need for telephones and for laptops when we're in vote center mode for the lobby and also for the Belfair fire station. So I think we're getting everything lined up for a successful 2024 presidential election.
Wonderful. All right, anything else for Steve?
I just had a quick question for you, Steve. It's
Yes,
not
sir.
often that you hear somebody trying to steal a ballot drop box, and especially during an active election cycle. So was any of the ballots impacted that were in there?
No ballots were impacted. We got a call bright and early Thursday morning from the library staff saying that the reporting that someone had tried to steal the drop box, and they sent some photographs along, and they were able to unearth it. It was still attached to the concrete slab, and there were marks on it from where they had straps to try to dislodge it. I don't know what they were going to do with it.
They were thinking they're to get money from the treasurer, checks and stuff like that is what they thought.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Well,
anyway,
how many times have you gotten treasurer stuff put in your box?
a few times.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what they're thinking.
But this thing weighs like 1,000 pounds. So I think it was more than what they bargained for. They got it up on the curb, but that's either they were thwarted or something changed their plans and they left it where it was. But since then, again, I have filed a report with the sheriff's department, and we'll probably work with the journal to get some visibility in the paper. And this is also the drop box that we plan to move anyway. Right after the certification of this special election, we're going to move it up to the new fire station location where there is a security camera waiting for it. So it's not
Make
gonna
sure you
be
send out an email of thank you for helping you to get your job done. Forget it is flash. All right, anything further for Steve? All right, we want to thank you very much, Mr. Auditor.
Once again, you guys are great. Thanks so much.
Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and move on to community development and Kell Rowen. Good morning, Kell.
Morning. Okay, following up from where Ian left off, we are taking a portion of what was in Title 6, 6.68, and moving it into Title 17. And this is a briefing to just request that it's put on the action agenda to post the hearing for March 12th. And this has to do with water supply requirements in WIRA 14, 15, and 22. We did make some minor code amendments, but it doesn't change, just to for clarification for staff and the public, but it doesn't change what we've been doing since we've initially adopted this in 2018.
Okay, any questions for Kell?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Not from me. So I guess we have 3 okays to have it put on the agenda for the announcement of the hearing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep, we're good to go. What else you got?
Awesome.
A handoff?
Marissa.
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Marissa.
So the document I have for you topic is the 6-year financing plan for capital facilities, capital improvement program for 2024 through 2029. The capital improvement program was previously combined with the capital facilities element. And so due to the requirement to update this document annually, or at least every 2 years, concurrent with the capital budget, we extracted the information for the CIP information to put it in an appendix just for the ease of editing, since it has to be edited more frequently than the information about our capital facilities for the 20-year period. So staff is just asking to get this on the action agenda to set a public hearing for March 12th. The BOCC reviewed this document at their December 18th and then their January 22nd meetings, and it was unanimously recommended to the BOCC. So.
Excellent. Commissioner Trask, you have any questions?
I don't. Great job.
Commissioner Schutte?
Yeah, thanks, Marissa. A lot of work goes into this, and appreciate all of your effort as well as the Planning Commission's effort to review this and then unanimously approve it. That's great.
Yeah, I appreciate it as well. So we have 3 yeses. Hearing no objection, we have 3 yeses to put it on the agenda for the announcement of the hearing. Yep. You got it, Marissa. What else you got for us? Anything else?
That's it. Just tomorrow we have a work session on short-term rentals, and I know there's some people confused that it's not in person, it's over Zoom. So I'm still kind of emailing people back and telling them how they can access that Zoom link to watch that session.
So now ours on my agenda, it says in the commission chambers. Commissioners, were you intended on being there personally, or?
I assumed it was on Zoom, but
Yeah, I assumed it was as well. But that was
nothing wrong. So we will go ahead and continue to handle it through Zoom, but we may want to change it on our notice of our agenda that we are not having it in the commission chambers.
Commissioners, do you mind if I pop in?
Please.
So we do still have to have a physical location just in case anyone is unable to attend via Zoom.
Right.
So that's why we have the commission chambers on there.
Okay, but we will handle it the same way that we're handling it here, and you'll probably have a computer with a camera set up if somebody shows up.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Okay, that answers that.
just a quick point of clarification on that too, Marissa. So workshop, no intention of taking public comment tomorrow, just overview and discussion by staff and the board. Is that correct?
That's what I was assuming. Okay. Yes.
It sounds like we got a tremendous response to the survey. So I think the public is very interested in this and is taking the opportunity to weigh in. So good opportunity for us to discuss and figure out how we want to move forward. So great.
Well, no, Kevin, I'm glad you brought that up, because if I'm chairing it, I kind of need to know all that. So is that where we're at on this as a commission, is that it is not going to be open for public comment tomorrow, just for informational for the commission? Is that what I heard, or is that what you're thinking too, Commissioner Trask?
Yeah, that was my understanding. that it's just a workshop, not a hearing?
Well, at workshop, sometimes we allow for people to comment, but if we're doing it strictly as informational for the commission, then I'll know how to handle it. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and you direct me how you want that meeting to be run. Okay. So that's how we will do it tomorrow, Marissa.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have anything for Marissa or for Kell?
I do not.
All right, hearing none, we thank you very much. All right, next up, we have Public Works, Loretta Swanson, Utilities and Waste Management also.
Good
Morning, Loretta.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
All right. Well, first up, Mike has some interlocal agreements that we are asking to execute. And you may recall that Kelly Metcalf had sent out an update to all of the folks that we have agreements with. And this is the second round of those agreements that we're asking for execution.
Do you need any more than that? We're requesting the board to sign the interlocal agreements between Squaxin Tribe, Skokomish Tribe, Mason Transit Authority, Washington State Patrol, Port of Hoodsport, Port of Grapeview, Pioneer School District, Mason Conservation District, the Department of Natural Resources, City of Tacoma, and City of Shelton, and the Port of Allen.
Phew.
And is it only the Port of Hoodsport that we've received anything back from?
That's correct. Yeah, I know that Kelly's been having ongoing communications back and forth with some others, but so far the Hoodsport is the one that's been returned.
And is there a deadline when they need to be completed?
Not necessarily, Commissioner Trask. The deadline may be, I need service, help. And then they'll be motivated to execute or not. It's a good preparatory measure for those that may need either emergency or just ongoing services.
So just to educate me, sorry, Commissioner Netherland.
No, please.
The ILAs, if there was, so you mentioned emergencies, if there was an emergency, how would these ILAs be essential for FEMA response?
Not necessarily, correct, Mike? We would still be able to render aid with or without the ILA, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that we would render aid regardless of an ILA
Yes.
or not, but the ILA just helps.
These are mainly for just routine situations.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for confusing the issue with using emergency language, commissioners.
Oh, no, I think it's good to clarify. So I appreciate that clarification and yeah, no, good job. Thanks.
You bet. And next up, we have a request to grant a temporary access license across our North Bay facility. Richard?
I bet you what you have to say, Richard, is incredible, but we can't hear any of it.
Oh, no. All right.
He's going to sneak into one of your
I'll give this
offices.
one. We were approached by a contractor, commissioners, who is doing work for the United States Navy. And they too have culverts to replace. So this is a project where they will be working to replace a culvert under the rail. And to get to that project, they need to cross several properties, one of which is our North Bay facility. And so we are requesting approval for the county administrator to sign a license agreement that would grant access to do that. The agreement amount is for $270. I would ask that we possibly consider waiving that if the contractor provides an equal amount in service in terms of road work and grading, which it sounds like they're willing to do. That road, as you might know, needs a great deal of work, and it's in their mutual interest and our mutual interest to do some road work up there.
Any questions, commissioners? Everybody okay with it?
Yep.
Okay. What else you got, Loretta?
All right, great. Thank you, commissioners. Next up, we have a interlocal agreement with Cowlitz County for the disposal of solid waste. And I'm not sure if Richard's, he's still silent or working out. So what this agreement is for disposing of our solid waste that is generated throughout Mason County. As you know, waste is collected at our various transfer stations, moved to the Eels Hill facility, and from there it is currently transported to the facility that is owned and operated by Republic Services. This would change that, and we would be contracting with Cowlitz County for the disposal of our solid waste. And the contract has been reviewed by Risk, our legal, our internal team. And the only thing that we have a potential, well, a modification would be the term. And under item 12, we are requesting that we change the termination notice to 365 days as opposed to 120. So what we would bring before you next week for potential action would be that one modification.
What about I haven't had a chance to look into it. What about the liability questions that we had? Was that taken care of?
They have been addressed, commissioners.
Okay, wonderful. And I have no issue. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or issues?
No issues. Just thanks Loretta and Richard and Tim Whitehead, who is not on here, for your work on this, and Mark as well. And then obviously also a big thanks to Cowlitz County for their meeting us on this. This is a good partnership.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Commissioner Trask, for going down and talking to them as well. I think this is a good agreement now that some of these things have been rectified. I think we're in a good position. So thank you, Commissioner Trask, as well.
Yeah, all commissioners appreciate your eyes on and your input and comments. And hats off to Nicole as well. Definitely have some risk components that were reviewed as well. So thank you.
Right, an amazing team effort, right?
Okay, and then next up, commissioners, is the companion piece, if you will. And this is an agreement with Mason County Garbage for the transport of solid waste. And again, that is currently conducted by Republic Services, and this would be a switch whereby Mason County Garbage will now be our transportation hauler. So they will provide the equipment, collect our solid waste from the Eels Hill facility, and then transport it to Cowlitz County.
And on this one also, we have our out clause and everything included?
We do, Commissioner, and we do have a couple of modifications that you will see in your packet that will be posting later this week. And what needs to be still hammered out there, I know that there's some pollution liability insurance that Nicole and the Mason County garbage team are still working through the details on. We, as a submittal after the contract and as appendices, need to update an emergency operations plan. So there is a plan that is in place for the Mason County Garbage Facility, but we want to talk a little bit more robustly about emergency operations countywide, if you will. And then we also need to get the details on our our free dump days. So those are the three items that will be a modification to the contract that you see in this packet. And I see Mark Scott is, am I missing anything, Mark?
Nope, just wanted to let the board know that this is something that we, including Tim White, have been working on with Mason County Garbage and their respective legal counsel. And the items that Loretta just mentioned are all items that they were very open to. It's just making sure that we get the language in the contract for it.
Yeah, and just a
Is everybody comfortable with moving that forward as well?
I am.
I am, yeah, and a big thank you to everybody that really worked on this. This has been a long haul, haha.
yes.
That was punning. Okay.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Same here. Thank you, Loretta. You guys did a great job. This was quite a process, but I definitely feel that it's been cleaned up. I'm a lot more comfortable today than I ever was through the process. So
Great.
thank you.
Yeah, there have been some twists and turns, and thank you, commissioners, for hanging in there on the twists and turns.
What else you got?
All right, so we've got some discussion items, the 2024 bridge report and a letter of support request. And maybe if we could switch those around, I'm not sure whether you have a preference, commissioners. Maybe the bridge report first.
Yeah, hit it.
All right.
So we have a bridge report that's required annually by the WAC code, and we have to have it up to the County Road Administration Board every year by March 1st. And so we've got it done a little early this year, and everybody's worked on it and done a really good job. So we're currently maintaining a bridge inspection program for about 98 bridges. What we've done is we've added a lot of structures. Well, we've built some structures in the last 4 years, but we've added some older structures that had not been on the list. And so we get them on the program to biannually inspect them. 48 bridges are concrete, 9 are timber bridges. Those are the ones that we mostly are concerned with because of the age. We got 14 box culverts, 26 steel or aluminum culverts, 2 steel bridges, and then 1 bridge that we inspect for the city of Shelton down on 7th Street there. So like I mentioned, we're required to inspect them at least once every 2 years. And what they used to compare everything is what they call a sufficiency rating. A sufficiency rating was a number of 0 to 100, and you could compare bridges to bridges. Well, they no longer use this number. So there is no such thing as a sufficiency rating now. So now bridges are deficient when the culvert, the deck, the superstructure, or the substructure is at a rating, condition code rating below a 4 or below. And so how they measure that is you have a good bridge, a fair bridge, or a poor bridge. And so of our structures that we inspect, 73 of them are good, 21 are fair, and only 4 are poor. And that's a good ratio to have. So Harstein Island Bridge is one of those poor bridges, and we're working on that right now to complete the deck repair. North Fork Goldsboro Bridge is also one of the poor bridges, and that's the cap is getting replaced, scheduled for construction this year. And then Tunerville Culverts is another poor structure that's funded for 2024 too. The only bridge that we do not have funding for and is in poor condition is Laboki Bridge, which is out on Bold Farm Road, and that's a little timber structure that we've actually got plans for doing some improvements on through our own maintenance monies. So of the 4 bridges that we have poor, we're working on them. So then if we move on, we have, let's see, 3 bridges that are posted for load restriction, which is quite impressive because in Pacific County, I had numerous bridges that were posted. So we get down to Scour, we have 5 structures that are considered scour critical based on their calculation of depth. So what you do is you perform a scour calculation, and it tells you what the scour depth would be at a high flow event. What happens is these particular bridges have shallow footings, and so they're concerned. So what we have to have is we have to have a monitoring plan for each time that we have a large storm event. We go out and inspect the bridges during the event, and then obviously after the event when the water goes down. Unfortunately, though, we have 30 other structures that have unknown foundations. And so unknown foundations, it could be piling, it could be spread footings, but there's just no record of what their depths are. So we have to treat them just in the same way as the scour critical bridges. So what we've done is we've kind of done a program here to get our road supervisors and some of our other staff trained up on taking a look and inspecting these bridges during these events, so we can multitask at the same time. So there's 35 bridges. We spread it out between several individuals so that we can look at them all at the same time, and that way I don't have to be everywhere at once. December 5th storm, that was our first process with that, and it actually worked out pretty good. We moved down to new structures. We built Katy and Great Bend, 2022. Sunnyside structure was built in 23. Varsity Island Bridge obviously is being worked on in 23. Little Shoe Fly, we built that structure in 23. So current bridges, current structures that we have North Island Drive. That's been awarded to a contractor, and it's going to be constructed this year. And then the Tunerville culverts are actually going to be constructed this year. I've changed, if you look through the document, I've added program structures. We have about 18 various structures that are needed either replacement and or repairs. And we're going to utilize the maintenance funds or apply for grants for those things. But I wanted to have that in the document to really pass that along, as in, we know these are problems. These are issues we want to get to before they become real problems. And so we've actually compiled that list, and that's about it.
Commissioners, a quick note, our bridge list is growing. So this is partly due to the conversion of culverts that have been replaced and are now considered bridges. And Mike is our bridge inspector. There are pretty stringent requirements for an inspector, and either jurisdictions contract out for that work or have somebody in-house that is licensed and able to perform that work. So something that we'll need to be continuing to keep an eye on is growing either that in-house capacity and or planning for the potential as time goes by for contracting for some of those services. Of course, we want to grow in-house for that potential. But it's a body of work that continues to grow, and it is pretty time consuming, as Mike can attest, but great information, and absolutely feel very confident in the thoroughness and the attention to detail and knowledge that Mike has in performing those inspections. So thank you, Mike and team.
Okay. So what do you think, commissioners? You have this, is there an action that you're asking for this from us, Loretta?
No, there is no action. So this is, though, a very important component, commissioners, to use and understand as part of developing the annual construction program and our 6-year tip. And of course, have in our pocket for when we're making our grant applications for funding for replacement and repair. So
we don't have to-
this document informs how we go about our maintenance and how we go about our repair, our capital repair projects.
But we don't have to accept it in any way before sending it out for the deadline?
No,
Okay.
that is correct.
Commissioners, any questions for Loretta or Mike?
No
No.
questions, just.
Okay,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
hearing
no
none. What else
questions.
you got?
Yeah,
go ahead.
quick comment though. I think it's interesting to know that 1925 looks like the oldest bridge that we have here. Or two bridges, I think.
Yep, there's two of them.
Yeah,
Little
it's
scoop 'em
interesting.
one, a little scoop 'em two.
Yeah. Yeah, great job. And we are so lucky to have you, Mike. So appreciate having you here.
Thank you.
What else you got, Loretta?
All right, thank you, commissioners. Next up, if I could share the screen real quick, we have a request from Mayor Wheeler and the Suquamish tribe. Let's see if I've got this. And I apologize that this did not get in the packet. Okay, can we see this? And yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. So the city of Bremerton and the Suquamish tribe have submitted a request to the legislature for approximately $3 million in funding. And the purpose of this request is to plan and design for connection to the Belfair wastewater or water reclamation facility. And they're asking for a letter of support and concurrence from Mason County. And what this money would do is a portion of this would go to the city to plan for the connection on the city portion or within PSIC. And then a portion of the funding would go to Mason County to plan for necessary plant expansion and to review and oversee the collection system connection. And for us, what that would mean, there's not an expansion of the existing collection system. It would be designing a second route that would be directed to the treatment plant. So this is work that PSIC or otherwise, we plan to do regardless, and is included in our 6-year tip. So from that perspective, this is a way to fund that work that we are planning to do here in the near future. Is there anything I can answer or provide any additional information, commissioners?
If you could bring that down so I could see the faces again for the full screen.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, who wants to start? I can. I definitely am not in favor of it for many different reasons. One, it is not in our comp plan to hook up to the Squaxin or Squamish tribe. That is not in our comp plan. PSIC may be, but this is not an industrial connection that we're talking about. Aside from that, there's no study from us on our capacity and what capacities we have and what we need to do for ourselves. There's no study on what it would be and the impact it would be to Mason County if we were to do this. Again, I'm not even sure how it gets this far because we've never had any of that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why having that letter where we're supposed to get the million never happened has such a heavy weight on it. So we have no agreement with the city of Bremerton or anybody else on limitations on use on the system. Again, when all this was originally started, it was with the idea that we would take over the port of Bremerton's customer base and system. We know that's not going to happen. They're not a part of this. They were able to expand their system. So that's no longer a part. So now the only thing that's in front of us is actually extending a system out to the next neighboring city, which is in a different county than ours, and which also keeps their own tax base. This action would, by signing this would actually execute an understanding that we are continuing to move forward and that we are looking to sewer the next properties up into the different county. I also want to put out that that makes no sense. We would be funding or we would be creating the tool necessary to compete against ourselves. The city of Bremerton will be able to build what they need to or want to out there and draw off of our tax base. Literally, they build a new community up there, a new city up there of businesses. We close down our local businesses. We have a huge effect. The risk is huge. And if we start losing our sales tax up in Belfair, which is the breadbasket of Mason County for us, because Sheldon keeps their own, who are we going to lay off when those monies come due? It's a risk that is way too high, and we should be considering what's best for Mason County and what to do with Mason County residents. Going outside of that is selling the future of this county to our competitor, and there is no benefit that comes from it for us. Now, it may be a statement said about economy of scale or spreading the costs out for all the other residents. We don't make profit off of our sewer. We're not allowed to. So let's not pretend that that's even going to happen. It's not going to lower the cost for anybody else in Belfair's system by having a larger system that actually goes into Belfair. We can sell it for a dollar for every dollar plus a nickel, baby, but that's all we're going to get. The only thing we do by doing this is taking the opportunity or possibility of crushing our own county. And that makes no sense. We have no business supplying this necessary tool for somebody to compete against us and take away our jobs, our sales tax, and perhaps even the opportunity for a business to come here into Mason County if we're building it for them in Kitsap County. So that's my 2 cents on it. Who's next? So I guess I can say, I hope we don't sign it. I'm against signing it. And of course, I want to say if 2 commissioners decide they want to move forward, which everybody's entitled to, then it would need, in my opinion, because we have no consensus, it would need to go to a vote on the next meeting. But I'd love to hear what anybody's thinking, because this scares me more than anything we've done. At least what we did in the past is still within Mason County, and we have the ability to profit off it. Outside of it, it only draws from us. So please, input.
I'll jump in. So I had lots and lots and lots of questions and called many people because it's true, you don't know what you don't know. And so I reached out to quite a few people, and I've done a lot of reading. In fact, we have a Mason County Plan 2036 growth and opportunity. Also reached out to the EDC, reached out to our staff to find out how much money we've invested. And so I have lots of questions, and I still have lots of questions. But I feel like I can go ahead and support the letter for planning and design. It doesn't mean that we have to approve this going forward either. What I want to do is make sure my first priority has been and always will be the health of Mason County and the health of the people that we serve, the health of our facilities, and the health of our pocketbooks. And Commissioner Netherland, you are right. We won't make a profit off of the sewer itself. However, I'm looking at a report and it talks about the growth. I'm not going to pull it out and read everything on it, but it talks about the growth and the opportunities that we have to grow in Mason County. That's my concern. So getting this to those people that can grow our revenue, I think that's huge. Provide homes. Let's say full build out of the Belfair UGA could yield approximately 15.9 million per year in added sales and property tax revenue. Of this, 6.5 million annually would be realized in sales tax revenue and 9.4 million on property tax. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity for Mason County not to have to raise rates and to be able to provide jobs and homes for our people who desperately need that. I mean, Mason County, we are, because I'm on the Public Works Board, we had this map that shows depressed or severely depressed counties and cities. We're there. We're there. So I would love to be able to, upon when people get tired of me or and vote me out, I would love to be able to hand my position over to somebody knowing that I did everything that I could for Mason County. Shelton is absolutely at the top of my list, and I would really like for our lobbyists and the city's lobbyists, and for those of us that are here, let's help Shelton grow theirs as well. It's necessary. I want to protect our aquifers and our streams and our rivers. So the best way to do that is to provide sewer treatment for everyone that we can. I'll keep this short and sweet. Well, I guess it hasn't been short and sweet, has it? But yeah, I would be comfortable signing the letter for the plan and design. Doesn't mean that moving forward, I would even agree to do this until we knew that Mason County was supplied for, was watched out for.
Commissioner, you understand, I'm sure you do, the letter is for plan and design for going to Kitsap County, not for us.
I do.
This is for going to Kitsap County and Bremerton.
I do.
Commissioner Schutte.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I am supportive of the letter as well, and I appreciate Mayor Wheeler and his team continuing to work with our staff on this. We do have an ILA that outlines the roles and responsibilities from a planning perspective, and I think this is sort of the next step in that process. Let's make no bones about it. We know how the legislature operates. We're just at about the midway point in a short session, and there's time is running out. And so I think getting this in front of our legislative delegation and legislators from Kitsap County is a good thing to continue to advance that conversation. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for us to talk about the pros and cons and the economic benefits and the risks associated with a decision like this. But I'm going to fall back on our plans. I'm going to fall back on what is in our comp plan. I'm going to fall back on what's in our capital facilities plan. In fact, we just talked about our capital facilities plan here about a half an hour ago, where we walked through what was unanimously approved by our planning commission and the projects in there and how those relate to all of our utilities. And so, we can kind of pout about what this means, and we can, be upset about partnerships in our region, and we can kind of write the obituary on Belfair and Mason County if we do this. I think that's a little dramatic. I think that's theater. I'm not interested in that. What I am interested in is working with regional partners to check the box on projects that are in our capital facilities plan. These are projects, I'm not done yet. These are projects that we have listed here and have for a long time. And if you look at how we're supposed to pay for these things, you have REIT and you have ratepayer dollars. And then you have grant money. Big old goose eggs of grant money. How do we go get grant money? Well, we go to the legislature. We ask for support from the state to help fund these things. Commissioner Trask does a fantastic job on the Public Works Board evaluating projects like this all the time. And so if we want to put projects that are on our plans and in our lists on the ratepayers, that will trigger rate increases over time. But if we want to be creative and we want to look at partnerships and we want to look at getting these things funded through grant dollars, the time is now. And we shouldn't waste time getting these projects in front of our legislators. One of the things that Representative Couture said to us when we met with them, and him and Representative Griffey and Rob Barnes from Senator McEwen's office back in the fall, was get this stuff in front of us as soon as you can, And two, we're not going to be real high on supporting projects when you make dramatic rate increases. Well, if you want to avoid one, you have to engage in the other. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're not going to the legislature alone this time. We're going with a partner in the city of Bremerton. We're going to honor the ILA that we signed. I know that Commissioner Netherland didn't support that either. I totally respect his position, even though I disagree with it. And so I think this is a move forward to continue those conversations, see what both sides want to contribute to this. And there is nothing, period. Nothing about this that alleviates Bremerton or any other partner on the Kitsap County side from having to contribute financially to a project. That will absolutely, in my opinion, be a critical component of this. How they get that is completely up to them. If they want to finance it on their side, great. If they want to get money from the legislature, great. If they want to bond it, great. I don't really care. But we need to move forward on this so that we know what those financial contributions are going to look like to make sure that this is something that does make sense for Mason County. And we don't get there by being isolationist. We don't get anywhere by being isolationist. And so I'm gonna fall back on what's in our plans, and I'm gonna fall back to partnerships to help figure this out.
And I'll be ready to go ahead and we'll take it for a vote, but I want to make clarity. Commissioner Schutte, you call it theater. Everything you just said is theater. The reality is even a blind man can tell you open a business next to another business that's the same, it's going to have an effect on the business. You provide the ability for other businesses to open on top of that hill and have us be the ones that supply the missing tool for them to do it will have an effect on this county and on this community and all the jobs of those people that we are supposed to represent. And by saying what you're saying about that part being theater, you're representing the wrong community there, sir. And so the real theater is your kabuki theater you're running with that comment. It is real. There's no way that you create something like this and it not have an effect on that town. It's just not possible. And even a blind man would see that.
Well, due respect, Commissioner Netherland, I do know who I represent. And that's exactly why I voted to support expanding the sewer on our side of the county line first. You, as you remember, were against that. And so we have a multi-year head start. And so my point back to you on that is you had over a decade and a half on the Economic Development Council. And so you should be able to tell us that economic development is not passive. You need to be active in the area of economic development. And so my question back to you and this commission and our staff is, what are we doing in order to drive economic development in Belfair? Great, we got 300 houses. That helped turn the tide on the health and financial stability of the Belfair sewer. But where's the effort on additional development up there? And so I'm very aware of who I represent. I've done this for 8 years now. And so I don't need a reminder from you about who I represent. I've come into this with very clear expectations and very clear priorities to do the very best I could to support our community. And I did that. I put my votes behind it so that we have a head start on any development in PSIC, period. And so my question back to anybody is, what are you doing to help facilitate that development other than saying that any future decisions are going to crush our community? I do think that's theater. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. It's different than your opinion. But don't ever question the fact that I represent this community, and I have done so very well for 8 years. I'm not going to tolerate that.
Well, then don't tolerate it, because that's exactly what I'm saying, Kevin. That's exactly what I'm saying, because you just mentioned having a head start in PSIC. PSIC is not in Mason County.
I did not say that. I said we have a head start in the Belfair UGA Commission.
You said a head start in PSIC. You watch the video, you'll see it. And I want to make clear, I'm not against sewering the rest of North Mason. I was against us paying the full fare for a developer to do it for him. That's what I was against. I got no problem with having the sewer go up there. But I do think that the person that benefits from that property, just like anybody else in the county, should have paid their share. That's where I was. So again, with that, if anybody has anything else, they're welcome to say it. Other than that, I understand we're going to take it to a vote, and that's fine. But we can move it to the agenda, and we'll deal with it more there. But no, I absolutely, this whole thing is this is not new. This is what was thought up a long time ago and part of the whole process of getting the sewer to where it was in order to do these things. And it's not in the benefit of my community. It's not in the benefit of my county. And that I'm not going to run away from at all. So is there anybody else, do we want to speak on this anymore or just move it to the agenda?
I look forward to continuing this conversation next Tuesday.
Okay. Commissioner Trask, you ready to move it to the agenda or?
Ready to move it to the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, what else do we have, Loretta?
All right, thank you, commissioners. Just a quickie, we received a kudo from a citizen on the Travels Trails Road and want to, they were appreciative of the drainage work that was completed and noted that no settlement is occurring. We also did some additional maintenance work out there. So hats off to our engineering and our road operations team. I think Mike would probably say, let's give it another season or two to have some different rain events. But so far, the drainage work that they put in place appears to have or be addressing the settlement that you've been seeing and hearing about on Trails Road. So good job.
Great.
Yeah, and then last up, you see kind of a little laundry list of some items just to share with you commissioners, some things that are coming up on our calendar. Richard's going to be going out and touring North Bay and our Belfair facility with Erica Marbet with the Swanson tribe. She just kind of a need to familiarization and answer some questions there. And then I will be meeting with the Southside School Board on the 12th to discuss ingress and egress during peak times, people dropping off and picking up children. So that's coming up. And then, of course, there's the Freight Corridor open house and the comment period. And would like to talk a little bit further internally about formalizing county comments on the NEPA and make sure that we have a response there. So get with Mark and Kell and others to put together some draft comments for commissioners' consideration. And tip cap's coming up. And then, of course, thinking about, again, getting on the books, the Belfair facility ribbon cutting. And then just a quickie note that the county engineers professional development conference is happening right now over in Leavenworth. And it's a finance and HR and risk focus this year. And a big thanks to our finance and HR folks that are over attending and meeting with their peers across the state. And that's it.
So does anybody have something for Loretta?
I do.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Loretta, I passed our crew heading into work this morning out on McGreevy. Are they doing shoulder work there? Is that what the plan is today?
I'm not sure what they're up to
okay.
today.
All right, I was just curious.
Commissioner.
They're just
if Mike's on here, he may know. Looks like he's off doing other things.
Yeah, just really want to thank you for going out to the south side. I know that they do. It's a narrow road, and lots of kids go to that school. It's a good school, and so I really appreciate you going out there and speaking with them. And also the Belfair ribbon cutting. Let's make sure that the Public Works Board knows about that.
Yep.
So that we can pictures say 1,000 words. And so I am just super excited that we had this is a plug for the Public Works Board monies, but
Yeah.
Super glad that the legislature gave us enough money in that fund to be able to help people. We've got a lot of aging infrastructures out there, and so being able to help our community and other communities is so important. So I just want to put that on the radar and thank you for alerting us and keeping us informed on that one.
You bet. And thanks, Mark, too, for touring. We drug Mark around up there on Friday, and hopefully that was time well spent and informative.
It's a good plant to take a look at. It gives you an idea of the inner workings of all those little bugs and and our staff.
There are little bugs. They eat a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I appreciated the staff that were up there at the Belfair Reclamation Facility they walked me through the process and showed me the systems that we had in place, and Loretta and Richard explained the capacity that and how that would be developed and some of the necessary components of that. So for me, it's helpful to kind of get a visual associated with those things. Boy, the view outside of our reclamation facility is pretty amazing. So I was giving the guys a hard time up there but why wouldn't you want to come out here and work every day? I mean, yes, the road getting in there is pretty tough, but the view of that area up there is absolutely beautiful. And so I appreciated them taking the time to walk me through that and show me that. So it's good.
Anybody have anything else for Loretta?
Loretta, hang on. Loretta, just real quick, thanks again for the trip out to Bierbauer and Beeville last week with you and Mike. It was great to get some eyes on that and learn about all of the projects that are planned over the next several years out in Matlock. So I know there'll be plenty of opportunities to engage with the people out there and see their road dollars hard at work. So thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
great.
Schutte, I also was interested in that. What did you come up with when you went out there?
Yeah, so I mean, there were definitely a couple of spots on Bierbauer that have several potholes there. I just think the consensus that we came to after visiting was it would be difficult to grade right now, given the weather and those impacts. I've asked Loretta and Mike to kind of talk about some interim options, but ultimately, that's going to be solved when we chip seal that this summer. So the unfortunate reality is we may have to wait for the bigger solution to actually notice some benefit. So, but I know they'll keep talking about it and figure something out.
So they're still looking at also interim options, you said?
Yeah, I think that's always on the table. So if there's something that they have, they'll bring it to us.
Okay. I'm sure we'll see them again. Loretta, I have one. I'm trying to find the information, so I'm gonna have to go off of memory. I think it was around the 1950 down the Old Belfair Highway.
Okay.
And again, I'm not positive. I'll keep looking because I can't seem to find it. I don't know where it came from, but there seems to have been some work done on the side of the road for culverts, so to speak. And I guess there's one area that it wasn't done, and so now it's starting to fall out underneath a culvert, a pipe. It looks like
Okay.
and they're worried it's going to collapse or something. So perhaps you can just send crews out there. I know they sent a picture. That's why I was looking. I just can't seem to find it. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally did something. I'll see if I can figure it out.
Okay.
But if we could send somebody just to look, I'd hate for something to collapse.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
didn't
like
see.
maybe a little bit of scour under a cross culvert.
That's what it
Commissioner?
sounds like to me,
Okay.
but I don't exactly understand it because the picture was not very good, so I couldn't see exactly. It was more on a phone conversation where they were telling me what was going on. I understood a little better by their description.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike, I saw Mike kind of pop
I
on.
did too.
Do you have any intel, Mike?
There he is.
We'll check it out.
Okay.
It's most likely the cross culvert to the concrete one that we left. The pavement was a little wider on the edge than what we preferred there, but either that or it's the one they cleaned out last weekend. There was another culvert there that was actually plugged, and they did some work there, so it might look like it's scoured. It might have some repair to finish up on once the water went down. So we'll double check it.
All right. Thank you. And keep me in the loop so I can try and get a hold of her again and talk to her.
Mike, before you jump off, Commissioner Schutte was asking about the crew working on McCreevy today. Are we brooming, shouldering? Any idea what we got, what we're up to today?
We're doing some shoulder work up there. Yeah, some repairs and some stuff that scoured out the other day. So we're doing that all around multiple locations after our big storm event. So And we're noting those areas down so we can, this summer actually get in there and patch those up, but get them patched with asphalt so that they won't erode again. So.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other questions or anything for Loretta?
All
Thank
right,
you very much.
thank you, commissioners.
Next up, we're gonna go back to support services. Mark.
Thank you. CERT overview. So do I have John here? I do not see John on there. Oh, there he is.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Thank you. Go ahead, John. CERT overview.
Yes, sir, CERT overview. Within the briefing that I provided, we're expanding our CERT program. They are all volunteers. We have 4 continuing programs now, 2 scheduled for training and 1 that we're adding to. So one of our best programs, of course, is Harstein Island. That's been actually in CERT for more than 10 years. And that's one of the models which we use, and they're probably one of the best in the state when it comes to preparedness training and the ability to move their people into disaster operations. We're hoping to move most of our teams as close to that as we can by giving them additional training. So we're moving forward on that. One of the challenges we face is that volunteers I'm not going to say hard to manage, but require additional training and exercise to ensure that they maintain their interests, that they're trained appropriately, and that their community is prepared. So that's one of the things as we start to advance the CERT program, also looking at the other 4 volunteer programs that we're either bringing into place or expecting or that are already in place. It will add an additional layer of time and energy by emergency management to ensure that all those groups are prepared, trained, and ready to activate. So we're moving ahead with CERT. I know that was Commissioner Netherland's interest as well as Commissioner Trask's in the training piece. I think that you've been provided our training schedule. So we are offering trainings for CERT. Bob is, and hopefully you'll be able to attend, or we can provide you the materials in which we provide during the training. Is there any questions on this?
Hey, John, could you maybe put on a training out in the we have a Skookum Hall out there in my neighborhood, and I've had quite a few people say that they were interested as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, we can.
Okay.
Ma'am, if I could ask you to send me an email that I can forward on to Bob, we can get that scheduled.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
I'm gonna try also to attend, now, in the past, they used to do it in both. They would do one down south, they'd also do it up north, and then the up north one, they ended up being completely packed. So there was a fireman up there that kind of helped run everything. You might want to reach out to him. I believe he's still working there. And see if they're willing to not only facilitate, but they actually went through quite a bit of stuff for us in working hand in hand with our emergency management.
Yes, sir. And now with the new training center up there completed, we'll be able to offer more classes and be able to have a better quality of training.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Great work, John. This is a good thing, and appreciate Bob as well and Tammy. Glad to see it.
Thank you, sir. I'll pass that on.
And you'll be doing an announcement at our commission meeting too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is good for everybody. If you've never done it and you're watching this out in the public, this is really spectacular stuff. You'll be so surprised how much you'll learn. You really will. I've been around forever. I've done a lot of different things, but even I was surprised with the different things that I didn't know until they tell you. So great job. All right. What else we got?
The second thing is the playground equipment, which was passed back on November 6th for Sand Hill. What we found when we after executing the contract is we picked a barrier or a ground cover that was the safest for kids. What wasn't added to it was the barrier or the border that goes around that keeps the ground cover in place. The contractor has said that would be an additional $13,527 to put that barrier in. So I provided you the difference in cost, which was we initially were provided the bid for 137,177.64, and it's gone up to 151,854.43. The challenge is without going with that border, it will not keep that ground cover in place, and it'll have to be continually checked and inspected to ensure it's not moving too much. So what we're asking is that we be able to correct the contract and add the 13,527 into the contract to finish up that border.
Commissioner Trask?
Oh, I think it's necessary. I don't think we want playground equipment shifting.
Commissioner Schutte?
Got to do it.
Yeah, I'm hating every minute of it, but that I can't see how we can get around it. It's nothing that staff can pull off, huh?
Well, the problem is, sir, is that not really, because the one we picked is concrete due to the fact that it puts that border in, and to ensure that it's done safely and appropriately, it probably would be best that we have a contractor that does it, that's certified in that, in the ability to put that in.
Okay, you got 3. What else you got?
That's all I got, sir.
Okay.
Next item we have is discussion on our comp counties and some recommended changes that we're going to bring forward to the commissioners. And Mary, are you here?
Morning.
There she is.
So excuse me, I had briefed the commission on our proposition of adopting new comps by resolution for the board. And the commission had instructed that there was a week time limit for feedback to be brought forward, and attached on the updated briefing is the only formal feedback that I received during that time frame. However, this morning I did receive from the sheriff's office a demand to bargain and grievance, which is at step 1 with the sheriff's office, but that was not submitted during the formal period. And I don't know if you want me to reiterate, but the impetus for this is, as we have kind of a new HR department coming on board the last year and a half, 2 years, we're trying to make sure that we're adhering to best practice when it comes to our classification and compensation work and how we do HR in general, and reviewing, just like we did the non-rep salary study, which hadn't been reviewed in a long time. Our comps had not been reviewed in a long time, and coming at them with a fact-based, quantitative approach by the consultant, I think is in our best interest. However, we obviously have a obligation to bargain any impacts with our represented groups.
Considering your email this morning, we need to have further conversations. Okay. Commissioners, comments, questions?
I guess my only comment is I just, for the record, still support the research and the methodology that went into selecting the updated list of comparable counties. And if Mary thinks that we need to have more discussion on that, that's totally fine. But I think the logic is sound. Do appreciate the people who took time to weigh in with some specifics in terms of concerns. I think they can be overcome. And I think that this is the right path forward for us. But again, if more discussion is needed, then I'm happy to wait until we have that discussion.
Yeah, I appreciate all the feedback that we did get, and I guess I look forward to continuing this conversation. Reading and talking is difficult sometimes, but I do agree that the way that we came to this conclusion, I guess it's not really a conclusion because we're going to talk about it more, but it was sound. So I guess I just look forward to continuing the conversation.
And for myself, I'm going to agree with Commissioner Schutte. I'm pretty comfortable in all the work that you've done. I'm comfortable in your methodology on why you picked what you picked. But again, with the things that are happening, if you think we should take a little more time and have further discussions, I'm going to support that.
Mary, would this be a discussion that we have next Monday? Okay. I mean, frankly, I don't know that we're going to hear anything that's different, but it would just if we do have that discussion, would we still be able to move it to action on Tuesday?
If the commissioners would like to do that, I think, given the time, yes, I think discussing it in a session on Monday would be good. And at that point, I would probably have some more information around moving forward on the action agenda.
So Commissioner Schuster, are you recommending that we still put it on the action agenda today? That's what it sounded like.
I'd be fine with that, but I just want to make sure that we're not missing the opportunity to, if we're comfortable with, you know, the discussion and how it goes and Mary's recommendations, that we're not missing an opportunity to approve this next Tuesday, just because I think it's really important for us to be clear to all the bargaining units what the expectation is going to be for openers this year. And I think the more runway we give ourselves, the better off we're going to be. So that's all. I just don't want to, you know, I don't want to lose the opportunity to approve it next Tuesday. There's always the, you know, we can add it, we can pull it off, whatever, but I just want to make sure that we're holding a spot there for it.
That makes
So
sense.
I can agree with that. My question to you is, what is your recommendation at this point? Because although I completely agree with all the work you've done, and I think we're in the right area, I'm gonna go off of your recommendation because of what's happening. If you need more time, want more time, or we should keep it and put it on the agenda for Tuesday. What is your recommendation?
I think putting it on, and it's probably easier to take it off than try to get stuff on. I don't want to mess McKinsey up.
Okay.
And then we can take care of that after session on Monday.
Commissioner Trask, would you agree with that?
I would, yeah, I support it.
I'm trying to be very respectful of McKinsey.
It's a white thing.
Well, she's trained me very well at this point.
Please be afraid of Diane. Now we're afraid of Mackenzie.
I'm still afraid of Diane.
Yeah. So what else do you got?
The second item that we have, and I think Winter and Nicole are on the road. I'll be on the road soon. We're going to the conference that Loretta had mentioned earlier to go do some recruitment efforts and learn a lot, is a $5,000 recruitment bonus for the Public Works wastewater manager position. This is another one that's been open for over a year and we are struggling. There's a very, you know, competitive labor market out there and we'd like to try and implement this tool. And I also was wondering if it would be appropriate to maybe review resolution 23-033 to see if, to streamline these, we could have the county administrator's authority to approve certain, maybe up to like, I don't know, a $10,000 threshold or something like that, so we can make recruitment moves faster. If the commission would be open to having some dialogue around that.
I would.
I'm open to having dialogue, but I think that should be a very serious consideration. That is our job, and people elect us to do these things, not always just to pass them off. So with that being said, but I am open to the conversation and would look forward to that.
Same.
Okay, so can we, I'd like to at least get approval for the $5,000 recruitment bonus for that position and then repost if that's okay. And then does it need to go to action?
Yeah, as I say, you're asking for approval to put it on the action agenda is what I would assume you're saying.
I don't know. We've done it both ways. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if it would
I
be.
don't know.
for Mark
Anytime we
to-
have something like that, that should go through an agenda item.
Our last one went through an agenda item.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one should probably follow that same process.
Commissioners, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'd love to see it on the agenda.
Okay. Commissioner Shooty?
Definitely support it.
So just the impact of that is that we would put it on the agenda for Tuesday, February 13th. And once the board approved, then HR could update that recruitment advertisement to show the $5,000 bonus.
I would agree.
So I'm sorry. So you're saying wait until next Tuesday to update it?
Well, that's when we would receive formal approval from the commission would be on Tuesday, the 13th. If you want us to, I mean, obviously, I think that they're heading to this conference that may have individuals that work in the public works area of wastewater. And so I think they're wanting to be able to talk about that. I haven't heard a lot of feelings of the commissioners not supporting this process, so I think that they can talk about how that's happening, but definitely I don't want to jump the gun on formal approval on something and then have to go back and falsely advertise, if the commission changed your mind moving forward before the 13th and did not approve the $5,000 bonus, I would be concerned about having to take it off.
I think that's part of my ask as well. And I don't know how you'd want to initiate that dialogue around the county administrator's approval, but so far in there, there's like the Scrivener's errors and certain things that are already, I think, at a high level of authority. But I would just like to maybe have some tool to pivot and move a little bit more quickly, especially in our, we have 10 days in a talent pipeline before we have an, potential applicant who's already looking somewhere else.
I know, but that almost seems inappropriate to have, at the drop of a hat, we'll just throw a dollar at somebody because we give somebody else the authority to do it without a full conversation of the commission. That is our job, to look at that and to decide whether that's the proper mechanism for all of them in the department, not just one. So I personally believe that it definitely is something that if we're going to have that conversation, that's one of the things I would bring up. So,
yeah, and I'll just say too, I think, if we can identify that criteria, like this is a position that has been open for months and months and months. If there are certain thresholds, then, that makes sense. Cause I think it's like, it'd be great if Mary could leave for this conference to be able to say, hey, now with a $5,000 signing bonus, we know that there's budget capacity there because we haven't been positions unfilled. So it's just I think it's about figuring out what that criteria is for being able to actually utilize these things and not waste time because we are just by our organizational nature. I mean, we aren't very flexible and we don't move quickly with most things. So
I think that these, sorry, go ahead.
But we do have our closed sessions and stuff like that. So, the truth of the matter is it sounds good for this particular meeting, but we should have briefed on it a month ago or 3 weeks ago to have it up into this position to have it before us for the last vote. That's how I look at it. That's just part of the process. But again, if we want to bring together a way of looking at that, I'm open to looking at it. I just believe that it is our job and we should just talk about it earlier. If we do things on a whim, then problems will happen shortly when we've given it out here, given it out there, and then everybody wants their due. Of course, they want their share. And how do we, as a commission on the street, explain it when we weren't even part of the decision?
So just a little mark 2 cents here. I think that recruitment and retention bonuses are something that the commission has entertained and tried to utilize in various aspects.
Yes.
I would never feel comfortable doing one of those without talking to all three of you and getting some agreement on areas of concern or interest that we want to look into these things. So I think that the request here was really just to be able to react once we had this discussion, we had consensus, and not, since we meet every other week, sometimes that adds an additional week to actually being able to do something. So I'm not dead set on it, Commissioner Netherland. So it's definitely something that I would never feel comfortable doing without discussing with all three of you.
Well, and the problem with that, Mark, though, is if you could get a yes from all three of us, we had a meeting. And that's not appropriate either. So we got to be real careful with things like that. That's all I'm saying.
So this would be these not a formal decision, but a briefing discussion with all three of you in a public meeting.
Yeah.
That's where my comfort level would be.
Mine too. That doesn't bother me.
And I think Mary's really thoughtful about these things. I don't think that these are willy-nilly decisions that are being made, and it has to be done in coordination with the offices where these positions reside. So like there's a lot of conversation that is probably happening between Mark and Mary and hiring managers and these other departments. And it's kind of like, I don't know how I guess at this point, what's another week for how long this position has been open. But at the same time, it's just like, why don't we identify, like we did with other authorities that we've granted to the administrator? Why don't we just identify the parameters around that and then actually like trust the people that we've hired to do these jobs to make good decisions when there's, budget has been considered, personnel issues have been considered, the length of the opening has been considered, the lack of applicants has been considered. I mean, there's a number of things that you could do to provide appropriate checks and balances on it. And I think we have a good group working over there that actually is really responsible with those decisions. I mean, the fact that it took, like a year for us to even come to the conclusion that maybe we should offer a hiring incentive for this position tells you that the group there is very thoughtful about how they apply these things. So long way of saying, let's figure that out, because I don't think it's something that we're doing on a whim or that we're, just sort of, throwing things out there to see what works. I think there is a thoughtful approach to it.
Well, I don't disagree with the majority of what you said. But you said another line that is even more accurate. What's another week? So we go through a proper process and we approve it in another week. That's if it's been going through all this to not take the time and do it the next week. I don't know why we would be in such a hurry.
Yeah,
But,
well, I mean, I said that sarcastically, but I mean, it's like, it's just Richard doing this work. So, I mean,
again, I don't not that I would disagree even with the issue, but it should be done by the commission, in my belief. Commissioner Trask, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's very appropriate that this is brought up, because with Mary and the rest going to this conference, what if we find the perfect individual to fill this spot that's been open for more than or a year, maybe a little more? I think I would be very comfortable because we've all talked about it, we all feel pretty much, I guess we feel the same way about it being a good thing to do. So if Mary was able to tell people that, yes, we've discussed it and it will be on the next agenda for a vote, then she can move ahead and let them know that that's available for them. So I don't know if you feel differently, but I think that it could be included in
Completely agree with you. 100%.
Yeah, she's having a discussion with somebody that maybe knows somebody. She can definitely use that as a recruitment tool. Now, I would feel comfortable with her using that now to say, I'm bringing this recruitment bonus before the commissioners on Tuesday, the 13th of February. I also look at this as when we talk about county administrator level of authority, I really try and look at it in terms of the position and not the person. Something we always do with HR related things. And so providing specific guidelines associated with this stuff, I think, is important. And we could definitely put some language in there that could help with that. As an example, the Sandhill playground equipment, it was just under, I have the authority to do 10% on capital projects like this, change orders. It was right underneath 10%. And so this is one that definitely wanted to bring back before the board, just to make you all aware of what was going on up there in the North End with this playground equipment that we've been trying to get for a long time. But that is not specifically written. I think we could definitely write some language around this to ensure that the county administrator, whoever sits in this seat, would not make a decision like this without consulting with the commissioners first.
Just to clarify, though, I agree with you. It should always be for the position, not the person. But if you go back and watch this video regarding the things we just discussed, you will find we kept talking about we have an opportunity to get somebody that we like. That's the person. That's not the position. We want to be able to capture this one that we're interviewed that might just be, that's a person. That's not the position. So that's what I'm always afraid of. If we start doing it through the person, then it'll change how we've always done it, which is through the position. So again, but let's come together with some ideas on how to structure what it would look like. I'm willing to look at all of it. I just always, my core belief is always that it's our job and we should make those decisions. Not just put it off to somebody else that is not elected. But
Well,
again,
I don't want you to think either, commissioners, that I came like, I need this, so I can go to this conference. The timing just happened to be what it is. So it wasn't, like us waiting for the last minute. I think we had conversations with Loretta and Richard around, hey, we're kind of at this year point. This is probably a tool we should try. It worked well for the finance manager position up there. It's consistent with what we've done already. And I just wanted to see what the feeling was around having a more expedient way of implementing some of these things, but totally understand and we can work on that.
yeah, and I think everybody's behind you on it. It just, I believe that it should be a public process. With discussion and the ability to take it off. Anything further on that one, guys? Okay, what else you got for us?
I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Mary.
I got Jen to talk to you a little bit about some, I think they're interlocal agreements, or, oh, actually, the first one is the professional services contract with the EDC. So these are a couple of items that we didn't take formal action on with the EDC and the city of Shelton regarding 0.09 funds. And so I think this is just some cleanup work. Jen?
Yeah, good morning. That's all this is just 2024 professional services contract with the EDC, and that's our normal contract. We awarded them $99,000 for 2024, and then the city of Shelton and MOU, we awarded them $125,000 out of the 0.09 rural sales and use tax funds in the 2024 budget. So I'm just asking for your review and then to sign these on the 13th.
I missed that we never took action on that. We had all those conversations. I guess we didn't, did we?
No, and I had drafted the EDCs and just didn't bring it forward. I mean, it's a whirlwind during budget, but I'll try and do better this year and bring it forward at the time.
You can't do better than the awesomeness you do. You were pretty impressive. With that being said, on the one for the EDC, when we raised it, did we raise it for just that year because of the ARPA and stuff like that? Or did we raise it as a continuation that would go on and on?
I believe this is a continuation. It was 90,000 prior to this, so 99 was new for 24, not counting any ARPA funding.
Okay, well, that was new for 20. Did we ever pay him 99?
No.
And so then we had a meeting and we all agreed that we were going to up how much we pay them?
I believe so.
During budget.
Yeah.
During budget, we discussed it, adding that into the budget.
Correct.
Yeah, they asked for 99 and that's what was awarded.
Do any of the commissioners have any issue with any of that?
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay. What else you got?
That was it for me.
Thanks, Jen. The next item I have for you guys is just kind of an update on January 16th of 2024, the commission approved resolution 2024-002, which was establishing the salary commission. Currently, this is set up to set the salary for the county commissioners, as well as the elected auditor, assessor, clerk, coroner, sheriff, and treasurer. We had a meeting with Auditor Duenkel to talk about the process and how we wanted to move forward on it. There are 4 members of this board that will be appointed by the commissioners per the resolution. And they would go through the normal process that we would go through for appointing anybody to any type of commission or board that we have. And so what we'd like to do is get that out there, advertise it, so that individuals that would be interested in being appointed through the commissioners process could get their materials in. We would do a news release with an applicant. The news release would go out fairly quickly. The due date would be February 20th. We could do interviews on the 26th and the 4th, and then make appointments by the 12th. concurrently with this process, the county auditor will be going through his lot draw process for the remaining 6 members and trying to get them all to meet on May 1st of 2024. So would be happy to answer any questions or have any discussion regarding this item.
Are we okay just with moving forward with the process? Are we not okay with moving forward with just the process? The silence, I don't know what to do with that one, guys.
I think, I mean.
Hold on one
you know,
second, Steve, and let the commissioner speak, and then I'll call on you, okay?
I'll defer to the auditor. I'm interested to hear what he has to say.
Okay, Steve, please go ahead.
I was just going to add, we've got the updated voter registration database list for each of the commissioners' districts, and we'll be starting the random selection process today. So we're spinning the wheel of fortune.
And it's my understanding, Mr. Duenkel, that you'd be contacting those individuals to see if they met the criteria in terms of not having any immediate family members that work for the county and then seeing their willingness to serve on this commission.
Correct. And to let them know just how lucky they are.
Commissioner Schutte, does that change any of your questions or?
No, it doesn't actually. So I just want to point out that this is, to use Commissioner Netherland's parlance, this is in fact Mark and Commissioner Netherland's barbecue with Auditor Duenkel. So I trust that you will figure this out and get it to work the right way. And we'll see how this goes. I know that there's a lot of elected officials out there who are probably champing at the bit to get a pay raise. So we'll see what the citizens say about that.
Commissioner Trask.
Yeah, and this is we are following what the RCW tells us to, right? I think that's the most important thing to make sure that we do.
Correct. I think there was some confusion in the past regarding the criteria for the individuals that are appointed by the board in terms of if you're under a charter county or non-charter county. We're obviously non-charter county, and with the populations that we have, this meets the requirements that are within the RCW for the non-charter.
Yep.
I do think that it may be difficult to find 10. I do think that we will need to utilize staff from support services to help them get started in their process. So, ensuring that they conduct their meetings in accordance with the law is you need to have somebody, general public coming in may not know that process. So I've asked Diane to help with that, and she's agreed to get them started. And then we'd be providing feedback back to the board. So I think that if we find this to be a difficult process, we may come back with recommendations for the commissioners and the auditor to determine how could we change it, right? So a 10-member salary commission. Well, let's see how it goes and see if it's difficult to fill. Those 4 positions that need to be appointed by the commissioners, we can also see how difficult it is to find individuals to do that. And if we have difficulty with that, I think that the commission has the ability to maybe adjust the total number. We just have to make sure that there's a majority of members that are selected through the random lot draw that Auditor Duenkel was talking about.
So, Mr. Auditor, you will keep us in the loop on how that's going, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for the auditor or Mark?
I'm the concern that I just want to bring before the commissioners is there is a May 1st deadline that's in the resolution that you all approved. We're just trying to follow through with what's been ordered to us. So be happy to have any additional discussions if you want to have those, but we're just short timeline here, so we feel like we better get started.
If he's starting tomorrow, let us know perhaps within 2 weeks what you're finding, if you don't mind, Mr. Auditor.
Will do. I'll keep you guys posted on volunteer status.
Okay. Commissioner Trask, anything you want
Good
to
luck.
add? Good luck. Okay.
And also, I'm working on the salary commission's got to come up with their own set of bylaws and approve those bylaws. And I'm working on a draft set of bylaws for them to consider when they get together to try to speed things along.
Yeah. All right, Mark, what else you got for us?
So that's all that we had on our agenda today. Be happy to answer any questions or.
Do you guys have any questions for Mark?
I guess just Mark, real quickly back onto the commission on salaries.
Mhm.
So like at what point will you be coming back to us if we can't get folks seated to either change that? Like what's your drop dead on having the right amount of people seated for that commission that would maybe affect the proposed due date of May 1st?
So my next milestone in this process would be February 20th. And so if by February 20th, we haven't received 4 applicants that meet the criteria of having knowledge about personnel management, then I'd be coming back to the commissioners to talk to you about and Auditor Duenkel to talk about what does that look like and how do we want to move forward with that. We may have to revise that number down and we'll see how many applicants we receive.
Okay, so 2 weeks.
February 20th is my first deadline, correct?
Okay.
So that's on a Tuesday. So then we could brief the commission on the 26th of February.
Any other questions for Mark? Hearing none, we'll move on to commissioner discussion. Any items?
Not for me.
Commissioner Trask, you look like you're thinking.
Oh, no, I'm just,
Are you reading?
I'm reading, yeah,
Okay.
multitasking.
Then I will entertain a motion and we are coming back tomorrow for a workshop. And just a clarification to everybody that is online, the workshop will be between staff of the commission, and there will not be taking testimony. We'll just be working together through the issues. But everybody is welcome to attend, watch, and participate by listening to what we're doing. With that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn until
Oh, sorry to interrupt your motion. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update since I had all 3 of you here. I did receive an email from Megan Chapman. She's the riparian program coordinator with the Mason Conservation District. And they're actually applying for some funds to plant some native species items. These would be on the same areas that they're actually going and trying to eradicate stuff that's not native and that can be invasive. So they've received approval from the county to actually go out and try and eradicate the knotweed and get rid of some of the Himalayan blackberries on these properties. They're applying for a grant to get funds to then replant that same area that the county has already given approval for. I figured since we gave them approval to eradicate, that I didn't think that it would be a far stretch, and I just wanted to confirm with the 3 of you that you wouldn't have any concerns with them then being able to plant some native items on those same parcels.
Anything, commissioners?
Specifically in the Skokomish Valley.
Oh, then anything, Commissioner Schutte? We'll start with you first.
if they think that's the best, then who am I to say it isn't?
Mr. Trask?
No, I think it's great. I love that they're going out and getting grants.
As do I. Okay, back to the motion. Commissioner Schutte, you were making a motion?
Move we adjourn until tomorrow morning.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.